It's Marie from Marie's Crafty Creations VT, bringing to you today this cell phone card, which I thought was really cute. We're going to be using two different stamp sets. I'm going to be using the Crazy About You, which is a new one in the spring catalog, and an older one, which is Just Sayin, which are these nice little word bubbles. And I'm also going to be using the coordinating framelits for the word bubbles to help get that look on the front of our card. So we're going to do that today by embossing these images. The ones on gray and black I've already done and cut out just to save a little time. So what I did with this one, because if you look at the framelit itself, the little point on the word bubble is going to the right, and I wanted it to go to the left. So what I did was I used my Big Shot and cut this out first, then flipped it over so that they would be going the same way, because the conversation, we wanted them to point to the left, while these I wanted to point to the right. So that's just a little tip I did for that one to get that to come out correctly. So the card base is going to be this green color, and I just chose that because that happens to be the color of my phone. I have a lime green phone, so I used this. This is 3.5 by 11, scored at 5.5, and I rounded all of the corners on that. Then the next layer that you see is actually the chalkboard paper from Stampin Up, and this is cut at 5.25 by 3.25. And what I'm going to do is take the word window punch, and we're going to punch out a hole here. Let me pull it up so you probably can't see that, because I put the black piece back under it, because on your phone that's how it looked. I wanted to try to make it look as realistic as I could. So what I'm going to do is line this up as center and straight as I can, and give that a punch. Not too bad. And you can save the scrap piece for another card. And then I took the tool that you normally use to pierce paper with, so that's what I'm going to do for the top to simulate the camera hole. So you just kind of find the center, eyeball it is all I did, and you're going to poke a hole through. So that's your little camera lens. And then what you're going to do is just take a scrap piece of paper and put that behind. You're going to adhere that to cover up that hole, so that when you're looking up close to it you can see it, but then it's not lime green from the card base. Just line that up, cover that hole. So I'm going to take the 1/2-inch circle punch, and towards the bottom and in the center, punch out a circle. The scrap piece that's left, I'm just going to take a standard hole punch and punch my little hole for that. So now I'm going to adhere that to the card front. Make sure it's opening correctly. I don't know how many times I have done that and the card is wrong, and you have to try to carefully rip it back off or start over. So there's that, and then I just take a glue dot and adhere the little button on. So I just center that in that hole there. Give that a push. So then our white text box is going to be 3.5 by 2 3/4, and again with the corners rounded, so we can adhere that to the front. Now you could, if you had the chalk ink, you could adhere your sayings directly on here. I just thought it was easier to show the screen with the white and pop them up with the embossed images from the stamp set. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is take a scrap piece of the blue paper, and I'm going to take my embossing buddy and run it over this paper because we're going to use some Versamark ink. And what this does is takes away the static or fingerprints where I may have touched this before, so that the sometimes you have to pat it. See, it's a white powder, and it will rub off if you're worried about that staining your cardstock. And that way, the embossing powder will only stick where the Versamark is. At least that's the goal. So then you take Versamark, which mine is well loved, so please don't pay any attention to that. This is what happens when you forget to put the cover of your embossing powder on before you start your heating tool. You get it all over. So don't do that. Learn from me. So I have the hay there. We're going to ink that up in Versamark. Stamp that down. And then again, that is from the Just Saying stamp set. And then from the Crazy About You, I took Miss You and loaded them on together. And I'm going to ink those up in Versamark and put them on at the same time, just giving enough room for both of them. And I don't like the way I stamped that, so I'm going to do that one again. That M's a little heavy. Much better. So then you take your white embossing powder and throw a scrap sheet of paper underneath it. Again, cover up your Versamark and get that out of the way. And then you just basically dump the embossing powder over your images until they're covered. And dump it on your scrap paper. And give your paper a flick because you want to get any extra off, because if you don't, it will end up in your image, because when you heat it up, it's there to stay. So then you just take your little bottle, fold your paper, and dump it back in. So this embossing powder lasts a really long time. It's a great investment. I love doing heat embossing. Oops, sorry about that. Get rid of the extra. So then what you're going to do is take your heat tool. So if you have this up loud, you may want to turn it down because I don't know how loud this is going to be. And let it warm up a little bit. And you're going to heat up your image. And what you'll see is it goes from a pale white to shiny. See, there it goes. There's that. So then I'm going to bring the big shot in. Okay, so then I have my magnetic platform, my well-loved magnetic, my clear plastic plates. I have some more coming on Friday, so hopefully they won't be so abused. And then I think I just covered up my framelits. Of course I did. Sorry about that. Alright, let's try that again. So you just line up your framelits over your phrases. And there's meant to be a little border around this one, so try to make it as even as you can. And then this one just snaps right on there. Put your clear plate back on the top, another one. Bring the camera. So here are our sayings that we're going to add to our card front. And I just popped them up on dimensionals. Peel off the backs. So it's like a little text conversation going on the front of your card. You could always stamp something, a message on the inside. You could put another white piece of paper in there to write on. I do tend to like writing in the fine-tipped Sharpie markers, or in silver if I have black, so it's just up to you and what you prefer. I hope you like this video. Please feel free to subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Facebook at Marie's Crafty Creations VT. I hope you have a great day.